Hi everyone, this is Derek from Matricon, and in this session, I'll be talking about firewall traversal using OPC UA ReverseConnect. So one of the challenges that are faced in industry is the ability to communicate down to the shop floor to get that data up into the business networks or into the cloud, and doing that in a secure fashion. If you just open up the firewall inbound port for the OT network, what happens is, as shown in the diagram, you can connect with the OPC UA client down to the shop floor, to the OPC UA servers. However, you're also exposing your network to risk since you have an open inbound port. Of course, if you shut that port down without any other strategy, well, then you've got no connectivity, so that doesn't work. So when you use OPC UA ReverseConnect, what happens is a two-step process. First of all, you actually have the OPC UA server call up to the OPC UA client, indicating that it wants to start a connection. By doing so, that connection is now open, and the OPC UA client then creates a session, a secure session, talking back down to that server. This way, you've got the call initiated from the shop floor. You could keep the inbound firewall port closed, and you've got the bidirectional communications if you want from the client down to the server. So fairly simple principle, and actually it's just this easy to use. And you get data from both sides. So what do you need? Well, if you take a look at the reverse connection, then really when you're configuring it, number one, when on the server side, you just need to indicate where you want that server to reverse call out to in order to initiate that communication. And number two, on the client side, wherever that will be, you need to indicate where the client should be listening, what port it should listen on, and where to expect that reverse call to come through. One key thing to note is that you are still using the regular security protocol to actually then establish the secure session between the client and the server. So even though you are doing a reverse call to the client, you still follow the same process after that in order to connect the client to the server. It's just that you're using the connection that the server made. So this is a standard feature of OPC UA, and it's built into a number of products. So for example, vendors like Matricon, Unified Automation, Process, they all already implemented this both in their SDKs or our SDKs to enable developers who are creating OPC UA applications to automatically be able to use ReverseConnect. And it's also in our products. So for example, for Matricon, we're using Data Broker in our Explorer, and same goes for Unified Automation and also for Process software. So next, what I'll do is I'll show you a demo of how you actually would see this in action, how you would set up a ReverseConnect call to get that communication going across a firewall. So what we'll do here is I'm going to set up a simple network where I've got a data broker sitting on the south side of the firewall, so basically the more secure area, and then the Explorer sitting on the north side trying to communicate. So first, what we're going to do is try to establish a regular connection with, of course, the firewall ports closed. So we type in that we want to connect, identify the address for the data broker, wait for it to connect, and you fail because the port is closed, so you can't make that connection. So next, I select ReverseConnect in order to indicate that I'm going to be waiting for a ReverseConnect call, and I use the address of where that will be coming from from the data broker, and also what port to listen on. And now it's open and waiting to hear that connection. Now switching over to the data broker side, I'm using an Explorer that's sitting on the south side of that firewall. And again, I need to configure it. So first I log into Data Broker, so connecting with just a regular client. And in our software, we call it FireBridge, but it is using ReverseConnect. So I come in and I give a name to the ReverseConnect connection, because if you have a number of them, it's nice to be able to customize what that's going to be called. And again, identify where it's going to call out to. So in this case, I'm typing in the IP address that's going up to the Explorer sitting north of the firewall. And also you can indicate when you want to reconnect in case you lose connection, and then you enable it. So now taking a look at the north side, I've got an indicator that I'm trying to connect, that I've received the ReverseConnect from the server. And when I select my method of connecting. So the security method, and I type in my credentials, because you always want to connect securely. I come in and I try to connect, but because we haven't connected yet before, we still haven't trusted the certificates. So again, we have to go back and now to the south side where the data broker is in order to trust that certificate. So in Explorer, you could just choose the certificate that came in, take a look at what the certificate looks like if you need to examine it. Everything looks okay, so we accept it. And as soon as that certificate is now accepted, the data broker continues to reverse connect or set up that session, the connection with Explorer across the firewall. The data starts, the connectivity is already set up. Explorer sets up the session. And as you can see now, going through in the Explorer, browsing the address space of the data broker down below, identifying some items that are of interest. We can just maybe grab a few of them here and drag them in to the data window. And next thing you know, you've got data coming in from Data Broker up into Explorer. And that's it. It's that easy. So as I mentioned, very important to note that you are still using full-blown security. So even though we did the reverse connect to set up that call, the session actually is set up the usual way. And of course, we use encryption methods or encryption in order to ensure that the data is safe. And if the connection was lost, as soon as you reconnect, Data Broker would then go back and reconnect again and continue working as it did before. All right, so that's how you talk security across a firewall to share your shop floor data without exposing your networks to undue risk. All right, so thanks for watching and hope you found this useful. Talk to you again. Bye-bye.